You know, the best thing about losing everything is that if you lost everything and you can speak about it, you still have your life. Okay? I've lost everything, including that. At least we can get it fixed. Again, family, forgive me for the lighting and the audio. I am actually at my my brother from another mother's home. In my first video, I talked about losing my homeboy in April of 2022, about 25 hours before my birthday. What was that? My 32nd birthday that year, 2022. Yeah. Anyway, nonetheless, let me show you this. You know, this is a big thing. This is how I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know, I asked my uncle. I asked my uncle back in. We are having a party 2017, New Year's, bringing in New Year's, and my uncle was an ex, pretty functional alcoholic. And I said, Unc, you know, it's my big cousin's father. I said, how you stop drinking? My uncle said. He said, Snoop, that's my nickname. Sometimes you get sick and tired of being sick and tired. Okay. Uh, so you know, this is what helped me get to that point of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. All right. Look at me. I'm just making it happen right now, y'all. This here. So let's go to October. I'll put my finger on it because it's even hard for me to see holding it up. You'll see that the 24th was that last red day. Okay. Friday, Saturday, today being Sunday, down on the bottom, I have been clean of alcohol, which is good. 3 days, and prior to that, I was coming down slowly. It wasn't like I came off a hard bender and wham, hit the brakes. I was coming down pretty slowly. So I feel physically, I feel fine. My bowels are flowing, which is a big deal. When I go in those benders and I tend to stop eating, stomach gets in a knot, and it really gets crazy, which I'll talk about. But I want to read something to you from a very powerful book. It's called The Narcissist in Your Life. Many people will demonize a narcissist. Um, as one of my counselors, therapists, he's actually a psychologist, says, um, we're all screwballs, right? That's why we have to learn how to recondition our thinking, reparent ourselves. The list goes on, and I'm gonna do a lot of that on the channel with us and lead the way. Um, Find it very funny that I had that last drink the night OTF leader Lil Durk got picked up after the feds put out a warrant for him, and a Florida county picked him up. But it's so crazy. They can go to the top of the mountain, and you know, when your mind isn't right, it could all be taken. So I'm not exactly sure why I brought that up because it was the 24th. So in this book, in part 6 of this book, it's about healing. It's about healing. And I just want to read something to you because it talks a lot about CPTSD. So when you hear me say complex trauma, that's what I'm referring to, right? I just saying complex post-traumatic stress disorder or CPTSD is a lot. So let's just keep it simple with complex trauma, okay? It says address your addictions, right? We're not even talking about trauma. We're talking about addictions, okay? I'm gonna read this to you. Give me a minute or two. Many people who have grown up with trauma and or experienced it in adulthood fall into addictive patterns. Sitting with pain can feel overwhelming, and efforts to control, numb, or distract ourselves are understandable attempts to cope with suffering and negative emotion. Things like compulsive shopping, gaming, gambling, substance abuse, binge eating, guru addiction, and workaholism can seem to offer relief from such pain by giving us a feel good shot of dopamine from our brain's reward center. But over time, as we develop tolerance, our rewards response requires increasing amounts of our drug of choice to make us feel good. One or two drinks are no longer enough, so we drink more and more, chasing the high that increasingly feels out of reach and poisoning ourselves in the process. As the addiction advances, we come to feel that we can't live, or don't want to, without it, and our need for it eclipses all else. As someone working on self awareness and personal healing from trauma, you need to be aware of your vulnerability to addiction. If you also have a genetic predisposition, evident in your family, to certain addictions, it is all more important to work actively on preventing it or taking steps to overcome it. Remember to treat yourself with respect and compassion along the way. Try not to attach shame to it. Addiction does not mean you are a bad, weak, or selfish person. It does not require you to submit to a higher power if you do not find that idea helpful. Instead, recognize that your addictive behavior is one more way you have tried to manage trauma, cope, right? Breaking addiction can be extremely difficult, and depending on your situation, You may need to seek out specialized help for it in the form of a therapist, support group, coach, and or treatment program. It may be impossible to believe right now, but you can reach a place where the addiction no longer dominates your thoughts or exerts power over you. People from all walks of life overcome addictions, and it is powerfully liberating when you get there. You can get there. So, trauma drinker. We got the trauma and we got the drinker. But before I start to dig into the trauma, you all, right, with books like this, which was actually released just this month, this lady has a powerful blog. All right, listen, I'm a young black kid from the south side of Chicago. I'm 34 years old now. I started this channel on my half birthday, right? 34 on the next turn. That's crazy. I'm closer to 40 than 25. That's crazy. Respect time, young people. And even if you're older or, you're mid-age, whatever it is, no matter, someone told me this, I don't know if I read it, but I feel like someone told me this. They said, no matter how far that train has gone in the wrong direction, get off, and head in the right direction. So you got books like that. Obviously, the book that I just read from helps you process trauma, and I like that book because it doesn't demonize um, narcissists, right? It's a disorder. It's someone that's an adult that is still stuck in that infantile state. They never developed, right? Healthy dependence as an infant, as a child, as an adolescent, as a teen leads to healthy independence as an adult. All right? Powerful books like this. How to Do the Work by Dr. LaPera, right? Talks about trauma, etc. I like all of these books. I would like to get me some content out into the world because though I love these people, none of them look like me or can really relate to me in terms of demographically, even age. All of these women are, none of them are men. All of them are ladies. All of them are different ethnic groups, which is fine. You know what I mean? I love my librarians. Some of my favorite teachers, they match these same descriptions, right? I'm not, you saw the first video, right? What I say? You cut the wrist, we all bleed red. But what I really want to dive into, and I know I've said that over the last 2 or 3 days, first day and second day, but I just wanted to give myself some time to let the alcohol flush out of my system physically. My brain it's pretty steady right now, but it'll come back at about day 7, day 10. You really start to feel a mental refreshingness. But these 2 books are what I'll be reading from over the next 30 days. Annie Grace's This Naked Mind, reading from and sharing from, and her 30-day alcohol experiment. Okay? And I'll share one more with you. And this, don't want to overwhelm yourself with that. That's what I tend to do. Overwhelm myself with too much information. These 2 will be the focus. And I'm going to show you one more too. The alcohol experiment, which is, it goes 30 days, day by day by day, by day by day by day by day by day. You get the point. Okay? And then this. The Morning Miracle, because that's how we're going to change our lives. Anytime when I was winning state championships with awesome football teams or going to conference championships on track teams, our mornings is how we start our mornings or everything, and how you start your morning is going to be dependent on how you end your night. But anyway, that's about productivity, right? So that's called how Elrod, he wrote a book called The Morning Miracle, and it was a huge success, and then he went on to make it for entrepreneurs and network marketers and etc. And then he teamed up with Joe Polish, who's a phenomenal guy as an entrepreneur, but especially in the addiction space since he's been successful, right? Usually when people get the money, once you have that work-life balance figured out, you kind of want to give back. This is also one of my forms of giving back. So The Morning Miracle, and that's where we are. Just wanted to give you an update, and I don't want to it's not really my goal is to post every single day, but in the beginning, I really want to attack this thing on strong. I'm about to get a job back, Lord willing. Got to get a job, you know what I mean, for now, but hopefully at a job that I was previously fired from because I came in hungover and I worked my way through it. But after on an 8-hour shift, or about 6 hours, I was just like, I'm over it. But the cool thing about this job is it's a serving job, right? You make easy money, quick cash. Not saying that I'm going to blow it. It's an opportunity to be responsible with daily cash. That get paid every 2 weeks thing, then they give you a check on a Friday because they don't have direct deposit. So even if you put it in, it's not going to clear to Tuesday unless you go cash it at the check cash place and get the little fee or whatnot. Why? I have a bank for a reason. So it's like getting paid every 17 days. That is absurd to me. You know what I mean? Like what? So it's an opportunity to make quick cash, but more importantly, I promise you, you deal with some people who come in and will dysregulate you, man. And it'll instantly put you in that reptilian brain of like, you be like, hey, welcome to Romeo's. My name is Romeo. Can I get a Coke? Yes, ma'am. Then you go get the Coke. And she, hey, a coffee too. The reason I was giving you the introduction is so you don't gotta call me A. And nice to meet you too. Right? Dysregulated me to come back with 3 Cokes. Here you go, Miss Thirsty. Now, what would you like to order? You know what I mean? But we're not gonna go there. That's not what we're gonna do. So what I'm saying is it's an opportunity to grow, as a human, grow through some of my traumas. And it's more than enough money for me to focus on what I need to focus on and build out my coaching business, specifically in the beginning of helping people find freedom from alcohol. You see, trauma, I love to talk about it with you and all of that, but I don't really. I want to be well versed in it for myself and for dealing with the world, but not really to coach on it. Like, yeah, we could talk about it, right? Like, you may be some. I was just on a coaching class last night, and Saka was saying how she's like, yeah, I'm not a parenting coach, but as a mother, when I'm coaching, I can talk about parenting, right? So specifically, I don't want to just do. How do I say this? I want this channel to be of value for anyone who's curious about alcohol, 100%. But my ideal client, avatar, whatever word you like, is someone who abused alcohol due to trauma, right? So even though I don't want to coach on trauma, I want to coach on how do you find freedom from alcohol by building awareness about what alcohol is. And there's really nothing good about it. Maybe you can argue a beer is not too bad. Argue with some wine's not too bad, but hard liquor, they don't call it a spirit for a reason, man. And that's what I abuse. Wine, no, that's Kool-Aid. Beer made me go to the washroom like a racehorse, right? But hard alcohol, the cognacs, the gins, the whiskeys, the vodkas, that was my forte. I'm going to the spirit aisle when I stop by the store. So we're gonna launch tomorrow. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do it in the format, but that's gonna be the beauty in this. When I was selling real estate before I was old enough to have a license, wholesaling, right? Find someone who inherited a property for 25,000. It's beat down, and they live in Houston, Texas now. Habibi over at the gas station, all the money that he making from his warehouse, from his hardware store and his gas stations, he dumping it in real estate. Going over there, hey, Mr. Habibi, nice to meet you, Mr. Yusuf. I got a house over here. You want to buy it for 30,000? Play the middleman, and you're just gonna use an assignment contract in the middle. I didn't know what I was doing. I had a sign up that said "We buy houses cash" and a phone number. People call, right? I learned how to do it. When I got recruited I wasn't really recruited, but a member that I worked for a lot on the golf course owned car dealerships. He's like, I want you to come sell cars for me. I'm like, no. He showed me one of his guys made 30 G's in a month. I was like, whoa, I'll make that in about 6 months. I'll see you at the end of the season, buddy. But you put me on this lot. We got 2 Ford Explorers or 2 Ford F-150. One costs 25,000, the other one costs 75,000. What's the difference? I'm trying to sit on the computer and figure it all out. And no, you learn as you go. And ideally in this industry, in any industry, if you're gonna go learn something, if you're a 5, 7-year-old learning how to ice skate, you're not gonna go get an Olympic ice skater. Your parents aren't gonna go hire an Olympic ice skater to train you. They're probably gonna hire the freshman, the high schooler down the street to get you going on those blades. You know what I mean? And although someone could say, oh, well, he's only less than a year sober. I've been at this battle a while. It was 2015 when I realized, hey, bro, you might want to get to taking this serious. And it was still a maze of a journey, But with the alcohol experiment that I did, that I showed you all, changed the game for me. Where did I put it? Did it fall down? But you all know what I'm talking about. I did. The calendar. That's 18 months right there. I'm looking at myself like, hold on, brother. I think it's time to realize that you might be more of a visual guy than just an experimental guy. The proof is in the pudding. For one, once you start, you don't stop. And again, like I told you in previous videos, I'm 3 days sober, right? Today, the sugar cravings were driving me nuts. Look what I got right here. Okay? And yes, earlier I had some Twizzler Twists. You know the ones, Twizzler Peels. And a Snicker. I can't try to be perfect. I messed all up. So biggest deal number one is to address this issue. Not this issue, is to understand we want to be sold. And for me right now, all I need to know is that I need a job, a decent paying job. I don't want to go back, going back to the streets and fast money, running in houses, whether you need a firearm or not. It's not an option for me, bro. I'm not going to jail. Oh, and I'm dog sure not going to prison. So we're going to have to figure this out. And plus, I want to do something that's fulfilling for me. If I was to go win 50,000 at a casino, I guess that wouldn't be too bad, you know what I mean? But if I was to go rob somebody for $50,000, what is that? If anything, I'm gonna have guilt, and I believe in karma. So then, if something bad happened to me, I'm gonna be feeling like it's payback for that. I ain't even gonna be able to be like, dang, like, that's what you get. So I really appreciate y'all. I'm excited for this journey. It's I haven't even put titles and descriptions on the first two videos, and that's you're really supposed to work backwards from the titles and the descriptions, right? Because that's how you get people to engage is immediately is through the thumbnail and the title. But who cares? I told you in the beginning, like I said, listen, Romeo, this isn't about monetization. This isn't about I need to sign a client in the next 6 to 12 weeks. Work on you. The money that I can make at this diner, it's plenty for me right now as I begin on this journey of true, deep, heartfelt recovery. And once I stabilize my mind and my body, get some nutrition in me, get things back to balance, to get my vitamins rolling, you know what I mean, which I have. Get my self-care back up to par, you know what I mean, so you look nice, I'm starting to stacking my money because I got Medicaid right now. I don't really like the Medicaid dentist, they kind of treat you like, but anyway, that's besides the point. Get things back up to where they're supposed to be and document it for me, for my future family in the beginning. And at some point, yes, the videos will start to be better. I won't be holding this light like a torch, so it don't look like this. And I look like I'm blacker than black. You know what I mean? So, much love to you all. And in closing, I read the quote to you, didn't I? Where is it? It's in this book right here. I'm gonna want to read it one more time before we close out. It's from How to Do the Work. Well, it's not from How to Do the Work. It's just where I got it from. She didn't quote it from there. And if I won't take too long to find it. I believe it's right in the beginning. Bear with me, y'all. I think I'm taking too long to find it. Yeah. Anyway, it was the quote by what's his name? Baldwin. Yep, found it. James Baldwin. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. That's beautiful. Much love, y'all. Let's get to work. Follow me. Much love. Until next time, Romeo Jones, Trauma Drinker.